Welcome to our special address on Aspiring India Technology Opportunities by 2025, Transforming Workplace and Empowering People with Cloud. Joining us now is Dr. Abhay Jere, Chief Innovation Officer, Ministry of Education, Government of India. Thank you so very much, sir. We're all looking forward to hearing what you and the department have programming for the future. So may I request you to please unmute yourself?
Yeah. First, I would really like to thank Economic Times for organizing this cloud computing summit and giving me this opportunity to actually be part of this initiative, a very exciting initiative. And as educationist, as technologist, as scientist, I feel that some of these emerging technologies have huge potential in generating livelihood in our country. You know, many times when we talk about new and emerging technologies, people are apprehensive that whether these technologies are further going to shrink the jobs, are further going to make the team smaller. Because if you really look at the team sizes when about 10 or 15 years back, for a same job, you may require about 15 to 20 people, but 10 to 15 years back, you would require about 100, 150 people. So in terms of team size, yes, the sizes have shrunk, but in terms of opportunities, if you really look at, the opportunities are getting more and more, businesses are coming up, and in area of cloud computing, cloud technology, I think there is immense opportunity. About a year back, I was talking to CEO in education for Microsoft, cloud, Azure cloud. And he told me that in that year, the global requirement for manpower in just area of cloud computing was about 8 million across the globe, 8 million. And these vacancies went unfilled because no right kind of manpower was available. If you really look at Indian technology scenario, especially higher education scenario, then we have about 80 lakh, that is 8 million students in India just doing technology. So each and every student, in a sense, that way, could get a job in area of cloud computing. Same thing happened with Salesforce. Yes, we were discussing with Salesforce. It's a bit shift. But again, they were talking about training a couple of million people, So what I want to ensure, or what I want to impress upon you all, is that in new emerging technologies, there are huge opportunities globally. And as a young country like India, where we have more than 60% population below the age of 35, we should ensure that we capture these opportunities and create the impact globally. And from that perspective, AICTE and Ministry of Education are taking multiple initiatives. If you really look at our new education policy, as well as the approval process handbook, which is put out by AICTE recently, you will see that they are giving only approvals to new and emerging courses or courses based on new and emerging technologies. They are giving approvals to courses in AI and ML, cloud computing, robotics, then for blockchain, So these are the areas which government is also acknowledging that are emerging, and we need to train our youngsters in these areas rather than the conventional courses. So we are taking steps in that direction. Apart from just technology, talking about technology, what we really need to ensure is that we increase the problem-solving capabilities of our youngsters. And from that perspective also, we are taking multiple steps. Because at the end of the day, technology is a tool. It's just a technology. Today it is really relevant. Maybe 5 years down the line, something else will come up. But if we have right kind of people with right kind of mindset, then these youngsters will able to actually accommodate or what we can say, change based on the requirements and readapt themselves as the field is evolving. So as Ministry of Education, we are emphasizing huge about creative thinking, design thinking, problem solving skills. And I'm very happy to share with you that we are doing multiple initiatives to actually push students in that regard. We are doing multiple hackathons like Smart India Hackathon, which has now become world's biggest open innovation model. Then we are doing very critical hackathons like drug discovery hackathons in collaboration with MyGov, where we are challenging students to use these emerging technologies like AI, ML, to actually look at drug molecules, which can be potential or which could be further evolved or modified to give us drugs, not just against COVID, but against other diseases also, so that India emerges also a drug discovery hub. Apart from that, we are taking multiple steps on a policy front to promote innovation and entrepreneurship. Because at the end of the day, as I said, cloud is just a technology. But if we can create good ideas around it, then we will able to create more and more entrepreneurs. And this will help us create wealth for the country. So from that perspective, recently we have announced National Innovation and Startup Policy for faculty and students, where we are trying to unshackle our students and our faculty. For example, and why we felt it was really very required, because I came across few very interesting examples which I would like to share with you here. I met one student and he was pursuing his entrepreneurship in a very prestigious institute in India, but he was doing in his hostel. So he started a venture, a small venture, and he started making some money, few thousands of rupees he started making through that venture. When the director of that institute came to know about his venture, the director called him and asked him that where is institute share from what you have earned? So the student said, why should I give share to the institute? The faculty or the director of that institute said that yes, you need to give share to our institute because the IP belongs to the institute. Students were perplexed. He said, why the IP should belong to institute when I'm not using any of the institutional facilities? The director said, you're wrong. You have used institute's internet, hostel's internet you have used. So as you have used hostel internet, the IP of your business belongs to us, and you are expected to do revenue share. This is simply ridiculous. We felt that this needs to be changed. Then we came across some of the faculties who said, sir, if we do entrepreneurship, if we work in emerging areas, if we do something of the sort, it actually doesn't get counted in our promotions, in our increments. If we have published a paper, it gets counted. If we file a patent, it gets counted. But if we do entrepreneurship, it doesn't get counted. If you do startup, it doesn't get counted. So can you do something about it? On top of it, the revenue sharing model with some of the institutes was ridiculous. When I started looking at the revenue sharing model of some of the institutes, it was as high as 50%, 60%. So if 50% institute निकाल लेगा, 30% income tax निकाल लेगा, तो फिर बचता क्या है? So there is no real incentive. So we said we need to change this and many more other things. So we bought this National Innovation and Startup Policy for faculty and students. And now because of that, we are expecting a large number of students, large number of faculty to actually get into entrepreneurship, use these emerging areas to create new enterprises, to build new businesses, and to generate wealth for this country. Because at the end of the day, these, as I said, are all just tools. We really need to generate ideas. And if we can generate great ideas, then using these tools, we can create wealth for this country. So having said that, I will stop here because I think I was asked to talk for 10 minutes. I have taken my time. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. I wish you great luck for your event, and I hope that it's great, it's successful, and we should explore how we can collaborate in further in exploring how we can create more and more livelihood for our youngsters in emerging technologies.